We're off to the races. Whoops. That's funny, eh? That's the topic today. We're going to the races, but there's a few points I want to say before we go racing. I forgot to say this the last time. Is we were stock car was built and we raced on asphalt, not dirt. I know there's a lot of popularity on dirt track and dirt track racing, but that's not what our choice was. Plus, the racetrack here in Ottawa was asphalt, so late model asphalt. That's what we were racing in. For another thing I forgot is we used to do tricks with the engines. We were allowed only 307 cubic inch on General Motors engine. So what we used to do, one of the better engines that we ever built was it was a 283 with a 327 crank. So, and what we did is 283 was I think it was a truck engine, 283 GMC truck engine, had a double bolt main, and what we did, we decubed it. So it ended up at 302. Remember GM? Wow, those of you that know this, GM they produced the 302. Wow, we made a 302 with a 327 crank, and we had I think it was the heads, I forget the size of the valves, but it come off of 350 horsepower or 327, if I remember right. It had the big valves on the heads, and this was you could call it a go fast engine. We weren't regular winners, but we were top contenders, let's say. Here in where we lived in Ottawa, and we were, let's say, not the last. We weren't always the first on race day, but we're not always the last. So it made it interesting enough that we kept on working at it. And this is stock car racing is what it is. I did this for I think 11 years. Racing these stock cars, and it's a very time consuming. Let's say other than your day job, if you do this, it will occupy all your time, your spare time, just repairing and building and fixing and tweaking. And we raced in Ottawa. Little story. We raced in Ottawa, and then it was on Wednesday here in Ottawa, the race, Wednesday night, and two guys came down from Montreal, and they came to see us. We spoke French, okay, and they wanted us to go and participate in the racing in Two Mountains, which was Friday night, in Quebec City, which was Saturday night, and Sunday in Three Rivers, Sunday afternoon in Three Rivers. So we did this for a few years, and it was it's like almost a full-time job, eh? And these guys were serious about it too, eh? Like, they paid us well. We had if we showed up at the race, we had so much. If we we had a ramp truck, and if we incurred if we blew a tire or anything major on the truck going down to their races. They would pay for it, and plus we had prize money, and we were in contention in those races. And I'll tell you why these guys wanted us at the races, eh? All these races had local guys, okay? And there's nothing nothing better to stir the crowd than strange blood, eh? Like they'd say, like these were all French people from Quebec, eh? And in the stands at those racetracks, and when they introduced us, eh? They always introduced us at the race, eh? And the Anglais from Ontario, and you'd hear the crowd just roar. But we weren't liked, eh? But we had the protection, let's say. These guys weren't probably not church-going people, okay? This was in the days when there was, without divulging too many secrets, there was some racketeering in Quebec. And not being part of it, but being paid probably by them. Hey, when the money was good, why not? And we enjoyed the ride. It was interesting, but at the latter part, it was just too time taking. Eh, like this was almost a full-time job. And this, remember, I was looking for the name Hoosier. I remember, like, we got into Quebec City, and everybody had Goodyear tires, and that's all there was. And some guys even had full sponsorship from Goodyear, and we were the first ones to come in there with Hoosier. Nobody had heard of Hoosier before. And a year after, 3/4 of the guys were racing Hoosier tires. Well, price related. Plus, they had the different compounds that Goodyear didn't offer the short track guys. So, anyways, the one principle that I always believed in, you get always ready for race day. You don't get ready on race day. So we'd prepare the car, and then when we get to the track, you don't have to work on the car. There's a few little stories about the car and mishaps in these tracks in Quebec, and I seen some serious business one time. One of the guys that was our escorts, just for the sake of it, we'll call him Gary, okay? He tells there was one of the heats, and we had busted like a little front collision, and we had smashed the rad. They were I think 3 or 4 core rads on those, and so Gary asked us, like, we were out of contention for the main race, and so he says, which car has a rad the same as yours? Well, we said that Chevelle there would have a rad that fits in ours, eh? So I see him, he goes to see the guy. We're maybe 2-3 feet beside Gary, eh? Goes to see the guy. He says to the guy, he says, you take out the rad in your car and give it to these guys so they can race. And the guy says, no friggin' way, eh? He didn't want to help us, eh? He had no business helping us. The guy, Gary, was forceful in the talkings, and the guy goes to his towing, eh? And he pulls out a shotgun. And so we don't see too much of this. In the States, it's probably more common, but for us, I seen Gary, he pulls out a handgun. I said, whoa, this is serious business. Anyways, he proceeded to tell the guy if he didn't give us his rad, he wouldn't be racing for them anymore, eh? So the guy took the rad off his car, give us the rad, and we give it to him at the end of the evening when we were done. And that's it. That's let's say it wasn't more restful time in the racing business. We knew there was a certain element of danger when we, like, everybody hated us, eh? So we knew this when we went there, eh? And that's one of the reasons they were paying us well to show at the races, and plus they knew we'd be contenders, eh? But in Quebec City we never won. There was one guy there, forget the name now, but he had a fast machine. He had well tuned up for that particular track, eh? Because the tracks are not all the same, eh? Like different suspension, different setup, different banking, how rough a track is, eh? It's all that type of asphalt, how coarse the asphalt is, eh? All sorts of variances, eh? So that's just a little episode of the racing. I did it for I think 11 years, 10 and a half, 11 years I did that. But I found that I was working on the car, we were racing, and I always put back whatever we won, plus my buddy had to dish some out to keep it going. So it wasn't a money-making venture, it was a time-consuming venture, but it provided us with some entertainment, fun, and I got out of that. Then well, that's another episode, eh? The house building venture, eh? But I touched on that a few times in my earlier videos here on YouTube, but we're not going to get into that. I just wanted to talk about the race car days, eh? But so we weren't racing on mud. We never liked the mud. Your car's always full of mud. You can't even see it, eh? You gotta clean it before you can work on it, eh? And we worked on asphalt. We raced on asphalt, I should say. And that's it. It was we had a good time, but after 10, 11 years, I just turned the page onto another chapter in Gator's life. So that's the story for today, folks. Probably not the best, but that's all I can do, eh? Like I said, eh? I always said the better ones are ahead, eh? But to know that the better ones are ahead, you look behind, and if they haven't been too good, well, they're bound to be better coming. Okay, comments are welcome. I try and give non-generic answers. I salute you all, and we'll see you in the next one.
Don't go to eat, and don't play with yourself. It wouldn't look nice on my house.